Hello, this is the 600th year of Lama Tsongkhapa, Losang Drakpa, who's one of the greatest Buddhist masters from Tibet. 600th year of his passing away. He passed away in 1419. So in order to celebrate that, earlier this year I translated a biography of him that has never been translated before. And it's unique in that it presents his whole life in conjunction with 15 thangkas, or 15 illustrations of the main events in his life. So this year I'm going around India to different Dharma centers to present that biography. And I thought maybe it's also good for people who can't actually be there for the, in real life for the presentation, to make some short videos to put up on YouTube so that people interested all over the world can also kind of get this sort of unusual experience of Lama Tsongkhapa's life. So in this first video, I'm just introducing the whole thing. So again, it's 15 thangkas. I'll go through them one by one, make about a 3 to 5 minute video explaining each and the main events in each thangka. But the main thing to know at the beginning is Lama Tsongkhapa is the founder of the Gelukpa tradition of Tibetan Buddhism, which is an extension of the Buddhist tradition of ancient Nalanda University. So as Buddhism spread to Tibet from about 700 AD to about 1200 AD, then different schools of Buddhism arose in Tibet based on the different translators and translators from Tibet who came to India and translated different teachings, received different teaching lineages and brought them back to Tibet, and also independence upon the different Indian Buddhist masters who went to Tibet and taught different teaching lineages, which all descend from Cittamani Buddha. Both sutra and tantric teachings. So the earliest of the teaching lineages to arise in Tibet was the Nyingma, which translates as the old school, which arose with Guru Rinpoche and also Kenshin Shiwatso, or in Tibetan in Sanskrit is Shantarikshita. So that school arose around 700, 800 AD. And then for the first several hundred years of Buddhism in Tibet, that was the only school to exist. So it's called the Nyingma school. And then after that, there was basically an anti-Buddhist sort of Tibetan king who almost wiped out Buddhism in Tibet. And then around probably late 900s, 1000 AD, there was a resurgence of Buddhism in Tibet and a new wave of different Buddhist masters going to Tibet from India, and also a new wave of translators coming to India from Tibet. So at that time, then the Sakya school arose, and then Kagyu is the third oldest, and then the youngest of those schools began with the life of Lama Tsongkhapa, and that's the Geluk school, which is now the most widespread, and it's the first, it's the only of the four to really not be directly tied to a specific Indian master, but be a synthesis of all of the teachings that had come from India to Tibet before that. So Lama Tsongkhapa really synthesized all of he never went to India, but he synthesized all of the existing Buddhist teachings that existed in Tibet during his lifetime by taking teachings from masters of all the other four schools of Sakya, Kagyu, and the Nyingma the least, mostly the Sakya and Kagyu. And then also going back to the Indian texts and kind of not reinterpreting but clarifying those, using reasoning and by referring to many different texts, especially using reasoning and logic, and especially by emphasizing the Buddhist logic as taught in the Pramana texts of Dhammakirti and Dignaga. Then he really clarified what is the intent of the view of emptiness according to Nagarjuna, which is taught by the Buddha, and then also what is the tantric path and all the steps of the tantric path by which one actually achieves the four bodies of the Buddha, or full enlightenment. So we'll go through kind of all that in more detail as we go through the thangkas. So this is just kind of an introduction to that.